Amazing. Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining in today. I'm so excited for this first demo day of Just Frame It. Really cool builders ended up joining this first cohort. So really pumped up to see what you guys have been working on in the past 2 weeks. Mini apps are so exciting nowadays. So really proud of the group we've managed to put together. So before starting with the live demos, let me introduce the the program real quick. By the way, I'm Limone, co-founder of Urbate and Builders Garden, as well as Farville. You might know me for Farville, the mini app farming simulation game on Farcaster. So can you see my screen, guys, by the way? Yes, perfect. So first of all, Linda, I know you want us to push for the new branding, so I made this this silly meme with just mini app it.
Right.
When we started the program was they were frames, so just frame it maybe even sounds better, but we'll try our best to use the mini app word, because I'm not sure I have enough money to tip you all the time I mention frames. So first of all, want to thank again all the sponsors that made this possible: Base, Purple DAO, Wordcast, and the Splits team that supported us on our efforts to make this happen, as well as all the partners that joined, supporting teams from a technical perspective, like Neinar, DymoPay, Embed, Zapper, and Privy. Again, I'm Limone. Frank is here with me moderating this day. Here is Frank, another co-founder of both Builders Garden and Urbe. Urbe.it is our community in Rome. It's basically right now probably the leading community for Italian Web3 builders. We do a lot of developer onboarding, educational programs, and we recently opened a physical hub in our city, while Builders Garden is more our product studio in which we focus on building consumer crypto products. So about just mini app it. What's about this program? So it's kind of an acceleration program for mini app builders on Farcaster. It goes on for 8 weeks. So we have a bi-weekly cadence for these demo days, so that teams can showcase the progress they made in the past period. One important thing is that this is really not an hackathon. So in the end, there are no real prizes. We want builders to be in founder mode, focusing on one project. Oops, there's somebody that wants to join. Jesper. So we want builders to focus on one project and try to ship it live and actually get real users out there, and mini apps are made exactly for this. So the main goal of the program is to have 6 mini apps at the end of these 2 months, hopefully with many DAOs and many on-chain transactions count. Again, we have these bi-weekly demo days, and to close the program in the best possible way, probably we are also organizing an in-person residency in Rome. So about the residency, we will select the top 3 teams, because after each demo day, judges will give points to each of the teams presenting. The top 3 teams will get flight and lodging covered for a week in Rome in our Urbe hub, where hopefully we'll keep building cool stuff together. These are the teams of this cohort, also in order of today's presentation. So we have Arrows, we have Secret App, we have Atlas, Livermore, Farcastle, and Megapod. So really excited to kick this first demo day. So please, Garrett, David, whoever wants to present for Arrows, come on stage. Again, 5 minutes for your demo. You can share your screen, show a new feature, a user flow, a challenge that you solved, or maybe an upcoming alpha release that you are announcing after or next week. I don't know. And then we'll leave some space for Q&A. Cool. Let me stop sharing. Amazing. So David, Garrett, who goes first?
I'll present. And I'm Dave, or Hurls on Webcast, and I'll present arrows. So this is something I started building, Garrett and I started building 3 weeks ago. And it's built off this, it's based off this NFT collection by Jack Butcher a couple of years ago called Checks. This generative, fully on-chain NFT collection. I took those contracts and turned it into a game called Arrows. So instead of there being a check in the middle, there's a higher arrow. We'll take a look at the art in a second, but the game is very simple. You mint arrows, you combine them or evolve them until you get a single arrow. If that single arrow is the higher color, you can burn that arrow and take 60% of the pool of mint fees up to that point. So this is the prize pool now. And it's a really simple game. You just combine two, you evolve them. Go ahead and execute that transaction. And that's the new arrow. So the idea is, I'm not going to go through it, but the idea is to combine them to get down to a single arrow. And we did this, we launched it last week. Some highlights: it was a top 5 frame at one point, over 6,000 transactions, 6 ETH was spent on the game, about 350 players. And then the winner won 3.6 ETH. And then we took the 40%, so we got about 2.4 ETH. And it was a lot of fun. I think it was, the winner was super pumped. He's like addicted to the game now. He actually got this one, which is super rare. He ended up, so that's the higher arrow you're trying to get. He ended up gifting it to me after, which I was pretty pumped about. I'm going to keep this forever. Some highlights, some technical things around the game. All the contracts are on Base. There is no database. Everything's on chain. I think I've said that like 5 times. I'll stop saying that. What else? Some challenges. Because everything's on chain and just from going from an NFT collection to a game, it was, I guess it's really slow and expensive. You have to mint 8 of them. So yeah, you have to mint 8 times, which ended up being around $100, 8 mints. The time it takes to get to a single arrow it's a bit of an investment. So it's slow, it's expensive. The game mechanic you just saw, me evolving, it gets kind of boring over time. People need ETH to pay, which was actually an issue that we found. And it's not free to play. It's definitely pay to play. And yeah, so we definitely encountered, there's ways of making this a lot better. There's no real, it's really hard to get a shareable moment too. Maybe when someone mints, they can share it after, which we did implement, but I think we should have added that, when we launched. And then next up, we're going to look at a new version of the game. We're going to launch at FarCon that solves all of the issues I just mentioned. Free to play. It's going to be a little bit faster, a little bit more strategic with how this evolution does. So there's a bit more thinking involved. We're going to use an ERC20 token instead of ETH, and we're going to do everything we can to make this game go viral, because as it stands now, it's just not set up to get the distribution we want. And then we're also going to experiment with a whole new game, just to maybe, I think we might be a little too constrained with like the current model for arrows. So we're going to try something slightly different. So hopefully publish 2 games in a couple weeks, and then the goal is to get one of these to go viral. I think I'm not sure if that's 5 minutes, but I can keep going.
No, looks good. I mean, we're saving minutes here, and by the way, it's almost 5, so looks really good. Any question, guys, from the audience? Let's say, like anybody around here. Otherwise, I'll go first, but I want to give you guys space.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I'm curious, how are you thinking about the viral component? Like, what ideas do you have there?
For viral, it's, I guess, getting someone excited enough about maybe their mint or an evolution to share it on their feed. So as soon as that evolution being so, like this one, for instance, I would be pumped to share that on the feed because of how cool I think it is, like how impactful that is, how lucky I am to like have gotten that. So I think that's a really good shareable moment. But to be honest with you, I think we still need to think that through a bit more.
Yeah. And I'll just add that I think like figuring out the right social share component, like I know there's been some conversation around like how the V1 like frame sharing was, and it's not what we're trying to do, but we're trying to figure out a way where there's like something compelling that happens in the game and you want to share that, and then invites like an action from someone else. That's not just another share thing, but like play this game or see if you can get to this point. And I think part of what that might entail is that more game mechanics within the evolve stages. So it's not just like an exciting moment to get to the very end, but maybe there's a sort of randomness or some sort of like chance thing at every evolve. Like one idea we had was like adding another trait with it where 1 in 10 evolves flip where the background color completely changes. So it's like a rare version at different points as well, so that the kind of joyous moment of like hitting the right thing isn't just at the very end, but it's kind of within the process. So a couple things we've thought about on that realm, but still very exploratory into kind of what the right approach is.
Cool, thanks.
Yeah, I don't know if it's a question, but just like an idea. I'm not sure if you like thought about it, but while like you're showing these arrows, I was thinking, like I might end up with a good enough evolution, and I don't want to bet on it anymore, let's say, and maybe I can sell it to a friend. So like allowing me to check like who is holding, I don't know, like that arrow that maybe it's best complementing mine, could attract more transactions, and also like incentivizing social sharing, because I'm interested. Let's say I want to sell my arrows, and might give you a good chance to win. So cool.
Yeah, that's a good point. Like we could also set up like quests, right? A first one to hit like a single, like an arrow, a 20 arrow within a certain color band, or a single color band, or things like that, trying to get to certain combinations without just a last one, and then putting prizes or things against that. And or we know that if you combine up to a certain point, you had to spend X amount of ETH to get to that point. We could, with the mint fees that we have, we could set kind of like, we could set bids against specific ones so that you know that if you get to that. But I don't know if that's the right answer, to be fair, but you could create more of a secondary market for stuff like that through those mechanisms.
Cool. Nikolai, please.
Yes, question for David, maybe. I think, like you said, you store everything on chain. What was the biggest challenge on storing anything on chain? If I can talk about this, thank you.
Yeah, it's a good question. Ideally, we would have had it. So you need 64 of these arrows, these NFTs, to combine to a single arrow. I would have loved for someone to just click a button and you have 64 of these arrows, and you can just start combining them. The challenge is minting that many NFTs at once. The latency, so it would have taken, 20 seconds. It would have taken a while to actually see those arrows. Unless I figured out a way to do them in parallel, but I just didn't get there. So it takes too long and it's too expensive. And just frankly, like doing that in the contract, I basically, so I did the max I could without the UX just totally getting crushed. So I decided 8 was a reasonable experience in the actual game. I think going in any sort of future version, I'd like to do either mint more or have less steps to get to the final result. So that was a bit of a challenge. I actually don't think I would have even done, like looking back, we were using 721s when I think like 1155s would probably be a bit better for something like a game. We were very married to the checks contracts, which were very beautiful, but probably not the best for the game.
Thank you.
Yeah, maybe Jasper.
Yeah, question for David. Love the like whole premise and the iterations that you're thinking about doing. I was kind of curious how you thought about the trade-offs between free to play and like pay to play, especially in the context of, you know, there being kind of a winning pot that is one of like the draws to like initially starting to play.
Yeah, like is it fair for someone to like basically get a free shot at the game and then take the prize, like take all the winnings? Is that fair to everyone else that is kind of played? I think there's definitely a dynamic we can set up where someone can at least try out the game for free in a meaningful way. Maybe they get like a certain amount of evolutions. And then you kind of need to pay to get it. Where we basically want someone to try out the game, at least a few moves, totally free, so they actually understand what they're investing in. I think a lot of people were just doing it because of either hype or just they know us and trust us. And so I think giving people a meaningful taste of the game before actually investing dollars, I think makes sense. I'm not sure what the trade-off is, though. It's something we got to think through.
Yeah. What I'll add to that too quickly is that I think there's a really interesting thing of like a generative piece, which they are 721s, and then having a multiple generative pieces again. We've thought about like, what if the initial arrow was more of a game board, you know, in some ways, in a different sort of game. The generative like component of this is really exciting. It's just finding the right mechanisms and game design to put on top of it.
Yes, Frank, you had a question as well?
So like the high level ones I'll talk about are almost 350 players, 6,000 transactions. That's mints and composites or evolutions. And then as soon as we had that winner, the game really died off. We still have people coming back, but certainly not as much as the hype. And I don't see there being many changes we'll make to this current iteration. Like we're going to see a huge spike. So that's why we're going back to the drawing board. We did lower the price after the first game. We thought obviously lower price, easier to get into it. But then we realized that, you know what, it's a bit more than price. There's something else we need to rethink, or maybe a few things to make this like a meaningful game going forward.
Yes, go on, Colin. We have around 2 minutes.
Okay, cool. I'll be fast. First of all, this looks dope, guys. Like, well done. I don't know why I didn't use this, but it is fun. One of the things I would recommend is if you want to make it shareable, like make the images shareable, giving some kind of quantifiable degree of rarity would be useful. So like you just said that, you know, this arrow is like super rare. Like I don't really know that as a user. So like even if you just label this as like common, uncommon, rare, and on whatever sort of arbitrary metrics like you wanted to apply, I think that would be useful in letting people know like, oh shit, I should be sharing this right now. Is there any kind of like a skill element to the game also?
I love that idea. Being able to establish rarity ahead of time and calling that out would be, it's sick. No, there's not much strategy to it. Like if you have more higher arrows like this one, it's more likely that you'll have higher arrows going forward. But there's so much randomness involved that it's really, it's closer to a lottery than a game of skill. Yeah. I think that's the biggest thing I want to address in the next version.
Cool. Yeah, and like even if it's just like a small degree of skill, like you do something skillful, get a 5% higher chance of the lottery coming out on your side, right? Like it doesn't have to be like a 1-to-1 ratio. Could be really interesting, but this is cool.
Awesome. Thanks.
Cool. Perfectly on time. So thank you so much, David, Garrett. Good job, and excited for like to see what's next. Really curious. Nikolai, please, your turn now.
Oh, I did turn off my video. Yeah, okay. Instead of sharing. Okay. So I think I'm sharing now.
Yes, correct.
Okay, so hello everybody. My name is Nikolai, and I'm here with the Secret app. And I will try quickly to show what I have right now, because I think these people are gonna kick me out of here in like 5 minutes. So and then I think I will switch to my mobile phone to answer any questions if you have. So Secret app is an app to share content. And so right now it's a very early beta version, what I have. And so I have the smart contract, like, or the basic of the smart contract ready. But here is how it works. You can select a text, image, or video. I'm gonna show the image. You can upload an image, and it will store it on IPFS in an encoded form, encrypted form. And it will create a preview. A pixelated preview of the image, what you uploaded. And in order to see the unpixelated image, you have to buy this content. And so that's, in a way, you can think about it as the version of the OnlyFans, but on chain. With some mechanics for referrals and also for the owners of the content to also share revenue with the creator. Basically, the idea is that once you buy it and you keep it, I think I'm moving too fast. So once you buy the content, you can decide if you want to keep it or you want to be refunded. So if you don't like the content when you see it, you can click refund, and you will get 90% of the price what you paid for it back. So that's like the whole price minus whatever the commission of the system is. And if you keep it, then you will be able to share it and get the revenue share with it. Yeah, these people are after me. And basically what I did build so far is the very basic version of the contract and the front end. My goal in the next 2 weeks to launch it and to get the first engagement and to get the first real users. Shortly, that's what I'm building.
Great. Thank you so much. Any question for Nikolai? Okay, then I'll go first. So I mean, we talked on Wednesday, I believe. So I kind of like know already about like your plan with the project. I just wanted to ask you, and even like to share with everybody around here, what do you think will be the main challenge for you to solve, like for this project, at least in the next 2 weeks?
So I think, like, because I'm like very beginning with the smart contracts, I have to decide how to solve upgradability of the smart contract. Yeah, how to divide it into this different parts. So probably one part of the smart contract will be to keep the allocations what people earned through the commissions. One part to work with the content itself, just in case it will be upgraded or there's some new features. So this is it looks to be challenging for me right now. Once we are out, like, to see how to get the market to to use it. I think that's going to be a big challenge also.
I'm just curious how. Oh, you feel free to ask.
Yeah, no, go on, Linda. Go
Oh,
on.
I'm just curious. How are you thinking about getting your initial user base? Like, what's the plan and strategy there?
Well, I will post it on Farcaster first, yeah, to see like how many people pick it up, and then work with some people who already involved in pay-per-view content, pay-per-view content. Try to get them to use it.
Yeah.
So basically, that will be the go-to-the-market strategy, basically.
And then, just from my understanding, is this like specifically OnlyFans use case, or is this also like digital content, like Gumroad or other kind of stuff?
All kind of stuff. Yeah,
Okay.
basically it's simple. So I just thought I would say OnlyFans because everybody knows that. Yeah.
Okay.
Cool, Frank, go on.
Yeah, basically what you're saying, like to see like how people will abuse it. Yeah. Basically, I don't think like I was trying to model it, so it's hard to play it because like people when they refund the content, they only get 90% of whatever they paid. Yeah. So they still lose 10%. Plus, I will build in some mechanics where you can limit selling your content to only to people who did not refund content, or let's say restrict people who are mass refunding. Yeah, something like that. If that makes sense.
Frank? Yes. Cool. Any other question? All right. Then I guess I know that you also not need to go, Nikolai. So thank you so much for. I hope like you ended this up in time for your meetings. But yeah, thank you so much.
Yes, sorry about that. I hope in the 2 weeks I will have more time to talk to you and also more things to show you.
No, but it's totally fine. But I know like you had an hard stop, kind of an hard stop, so we made it on time. So
yeah,
thank you again. Let's move on the next one. Atlas.
Thanks, Limon. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, loud and clear.
Amazing. So we're going to try to do this where I'm going to talk and Gayatri's going to talk as well, and she'll present. So I don't know if anybody's there technically.
Jacob, actually, I'm here. I'm better.
Of course she's here.
So,
okay.
do you want to start with an intro?
Absolutely. Thanks so much. Okay. Yeah, and apologies for I'm traveling today, so I'm just going to do my best to kick it off. But so for those of you who don't know Atlas, we've been building it for a while. It's been a lot of different things, a lot of different types of social clients and frames and mini apps. And over the last couple of months, we are going all in on mini app games. And this is something that was really just experimenting with, but it sort of took off. A lot of people love the games. They love playing them. They love sharing their scores. They wanted leaderboards. They wanted, to challenge their friends and to earn rewards. So, we listened to the people who were telling us what they wanted and started to focus on one game, which is this penalty kick soccer game. So for the last week or so, we've been working on getting this game, season 1 pass ready to launch, which we did on Tuesday. People love the art, they love the design, they love the aesthetic. Of course, they're waiting for the game, which is the main priority right now, that we're going to show you guys and demo and preview a little bit of the details. But basically, it's a game where you're going to play against another person on Farcaster. We're going to take turns being the kicker and the goalie. So you have to decide left, center, or right. The goalie is going to decide, how to block it. And standard kind of
Oh,
the
sorry.
excitement is already starting, as you can see. And the goal here is to really just build something that's super fun, super simple, where people are excited to share their scores, or excited to, brag about beating their friends, and of course, happy to win at the end and get the rewards, which is going to be in the Atlas token. So with that, I'll kick it off to you, Ukash, to show a little bit of the gameplay and talk a little about that.
Yeah, sure. So right now our objective for the whole game, or like every game under Atlas umbrella, would be to build fun P2P games, right? So right now we have a lot of things that are not ready yet, right? So what we have finalized till now is the gameplay. We have worked on like how to improve the graphics a bit more, right, to keep it as exciting as we can, right? We have our deadline to Monday for like launching it out for the broader audience, right? Let me just share, right? So the concept when we started was like, whenever we use like I used to play FIFA, it has that excitement of the crowd roaring on every goal, right? Whenever a player takes the ball all across the field, right? So that's what, like, the crowd erupts and everything, right? And we wanted to make this as immersive as possible, right? This is what I wanted to show, actually, right? So right now we are heavily using GPT-4 and other AI tools to create graphics that would be more immersive, right? So like we are also looking into how to make it customizable for different players, because the aim is to have like a Farcaster wide tournament where everyone can play against each other, right? This is a very single player variant of our game, right? Where you're playing against the computer. But what I'm actually exploring with this is how we can leverage like recent models like GPT-4o to create those assets dynamically, right? We have made, like, right now it's very simple, like you have that ball, you have this goalkeeper and a striker, and then you have pretty like I have generated like 10 variants of that goalkeeper missing the shots or catching the ball, right? So that is what we are exploring, like I'm exploring more on, right? Having more and more features to make the immersion better, as well as how we are looking into like how to make it more and more like social, like if people would be able to talk, right? Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, no, just saying that we are past like 5 minutes. So yeah, feel like to conclude. If you had anything else to say, just wanted to give the signal.
Oh no, that's good, right? We have a launch on Monday where we can like with the PvP mode, right, where you can play and challenge your friends. But yeah, that's all.
Okay. Great demo, Ukash.
Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, I love it. I love the graphic, the animation, and also the sound. Any question from the audience, guys? I'll go first again. Okay. Yeah, I mean, like I love the game, and I love like many of the games that you guys build. I'm curious, like how many people have been playing all these different games. Have you noticed like some games getting more attention than others? Have you noticed some patterns like with the games that are getting more attention with respect to others?
Yeah, it's a great question. So I started building these mini app games like a couple months ago, and I never set up analytics. But what I did was I set up with Buoy. I'm tracking when people share it, and I'm just watching for the word Atlas. And since then, there've been over like 6,000 people that have played the various Atlas games. You know, some of them are like the soccer game. There's like a boxing, like a shooting game, and then like a bunch of puzzles and brain games. And overwhelmingly, the football game is the most popular one. So that's one of the reasons why we went with this one as the first one. It's simple. It's kind of complicated, you know, for taking 10 shots in a row, and you have to think about the psychology of your opponent. So I think that's where we went in with this one. There's also a really active football community on Podcaster, so that's kind of. But in terms of the Mint launch for this, we've got about like 60 some odd people who were either purchased a season 1 pass or I gifted it to them. So of course, anyone on this call or anyone who's listening would love for you to join in with this first season. You can totally check out the Atlas channel on Farcaster, or just look at my page. I've been posting this frame all the time, and it's going to start early next week. And the more the merrier.
Yeah, I didn't understand only like which one was the game, was like the football kicks, and that's why like you're reworking it.
Yes, yeah. So basically, the football one is overwhelmingly the most popular one.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely. Like, there's no competition. I think it's just clearly the leader.
Perfect, makes sense. Any other question? Cool. Frank, question.
Yes, I have a question for you because you talk about user metrics, and so my question is: are you considering the Farcaster frame algorithm basically for top frames or viral frames? So I mean, do you want to push your stats? And I guess it's more on transaction side. So do you plan to improve the amount, basically the frequency of transaction to scale the leaderboard?
Yeah, it's a great question. We have a lot of plans, obviously. I think right now, what I view as like the biggest challenge is just nailing the social mechanics for this multiplayer competition. But as an example of adding transactions to the app, I think Atlas was top 10 when it launched, just as like a mini app gaming platform on day one. When I think they first announced the app leaderboard, and that was pretty exciting. And then we saw a lot of the transaction frames just like climb, and Atlas was sort of between 35 and 40 for most of the last 2 months. And then as soon as we launched this Mint frame, it just shot up to like 15 or 17 or something like that. So right away, that was terrific. Yeah, we'd obviously love to be in the top 10. So we're going to have a lot more like on-chain actions, not only the season passes, but also claiming rewards. We're also going to have like claiming assets at the end of the season. Right now we have this like soccer trophy that's in the little asset inventory page. And I just made it like common for people across the basically everyone who sees that sees common. And already like K-Mac asked me like, Jacob, it's killing me. How do I level up? Common is like, I can't be common. So like just thinking about how assets and minting those based on your experience or your stats on the leaderboard, can drive the algorithm, which is definitely top of mind for us, for sure.
Great, thanks. And yeah, the classic question, because you share your frame and it looks great. So what's your next challenges for your next sprint? So your next 2 weeks?
Yeah, it's a really good question. The thing I'm stressing out about the most, I think, is just coordinating this massive multiplayer competition where there needs to be people playing all the time. So if we just had 60, let's assume no one mints again for the rest of the, before we launch, we've got like 60 players. So we're thinking about, okay, you can challenge anybody, even if they don't have a season pass, but they're going to have to level up and win a few games to get into the competition. So that basically expands the potential players to everyone in your network. But they're not going to necessarily be on the leaderboard unless they either play really well or they, you know, mint into the competition late. So there's an interesting dynamic there in terms of like even people who are out can kind of like earn their way in by being really good. Just like leaning into like wanting to reward people who are winners and just like the best players is kind of the ethos here.
So any other question? Or yeah, I guess that's it. Thank you, Jacob. Thank you, Bashak. Thank you. I know Gayatri is also part of the team. Congrats, I love it. Now I'll.
With my family, but thanks so much, everyone. Great stuff.
Thank you so much for making it. Then yeah, I guess now it's the Travis' turn. So Far Castle. Funny story. Travis and team joined us like last minute because Andrew from Emoji Pop had to withdraw his participation for family reasons, very good ones, fortunately. And we reached out to Travis as he was the next team on the list, of top voted team for the applications. And so really excited to have you here. And it's actually the first time you meet the other members, let's say, in sync. So yeah, feel free also to introduce yourself, of course.
I played sixth man in basketball too, so I know what it's like coming off the bench. Can y'all see my screen okay?
Yes.
Cool. So in the mystical realm of Far Castle, we embark on a quest to transform Warpcast channels into DAOs. Discord servers on slow mode, toxic Twitters, and Telegrams with dozens of topics are impossible to keep up with. On-chain coordination does not have to be so complicated. It's not about the tech. The tools should enable vision and accomplishment, and Far Castle turns Warpcast channels into DAOs. We allow communities to focus on their values and their purpose. So we go over here to our feed, and we can launch our proposals mini app. So this is what we've been working on over the past 2 weeks, is preparing this mini app for launch. Market hasn't been really friendly, but we have been testing and improving the experience to make proposals on chain without leaving the social feed. So these are the two apps that two DAOs that I'm a member of on the Optimism network. And these are the 3 proposals that are available now. So we started with our signal proposal, which allows you to kind of gather sentiment like a snapshot. So we can put a proposal up. Should we just frame it? And turn DAOs into social channels. Click that, sign it. Boom, it's on chain. And now we can cast that from here. I'm going to add it to our channel. And that goes to our V1 frame there. We can view it here. Okay, so let's go back to that channel. And we can also do a funding proposal. So the funding proposal lets you transfer tokens from the DAO treasury. So if we need to pay a contributor, let's send Sam some degen. For this one, let me actually switch. I'm in the wrong DAO now. Let's switch to base really quick. And let's see. Send a tribute to Sam. We'll give him some degen. And this is all coming from this DAO's treasury. Make that proposal, confirm it, cast it. Boom. Sam will get his degen as soon as that proposal is executed. So now people have to vote on it, but they can be used for any types of transfers from the treasury. And let's see, lastly, we got a new member we need to onboard. So let's switch back to op, go to our Hollow Servants DAO, and let's get Tay in the mix. So we're going to do a membership proposal. Boom. Add his warplet, give him 1 share and 0 loot. I'm going to make that proposal, confirm it, share it. There's also a link on those to view the transaction. So now we got 3 proposals on chain. And we have these V1 frame that we built for voting. So now I can go vote on all of those with this frame on chain, transaction sent, on chain, transaction sent, vote for this one too. Could have made a comment on one of these to say maybe Tay is kind of sus, but who knows? We'll let the rest of the community decide. So, you know, our next steps are kind of shift focus into our fundraising mini app. This allows users to run crypto crowdfunding campaigns. And what do we need? Our goal is helping channel owners, not just building DAO tooling. We would like to interview more channel owners to get a better understanding of what problems they are trying to solve. So if you know anybody that's willing to speak with us, we'd love to hear about their experiences for just about half an hour. Send me a message on Warpcast. And for launching our fundraiser mini app, which is going to come next, we'd love to find some cool stories to tell. So if you have an idea that you want to crowdfund or know somebody else that does, please let us know. And then to sum it up, I was able to get a signal from the DAO, discuss an active proposal, send tokens, onboard a member, and vote all on chain using multiple networks in less than 5 minutes from a Warpcast mini app. So this is what social governance looks like. Communities can focus on their purpose and prioritize the vibes.
Right on time. Good job. And I'm very excited about this because I think that in particular DAOs are, you know, the wave already passed for DAOs, and we know how much is an effort for people to vote and getting that governance participation. So I'm sure this might help. Any question? Come on, it's always me asking questions. I guess with respect, you mentioned that. Oh, Colin, yeah, go first. I don't want to be.
Yeah. So this is, you know, back when Purple first started, this is exactly the thing that we needed. The ability to vote, you know, in social feeds is awesome. The ability to, I mean, even with V2 Frame, send notifications out to people and say hey, there's something you should be voting on right now. That's kind of a game changer. So I do think it fundamentally changes the way that DAOs can interact with people, and makes them way more useful because there's so much friction. DAOs are just full of friction at every level at all points in time, right? That's part of the reason that they've kind of fallen off. So you can imagine a future in which a lot of that friction is reduced and people can just build things with their friends and have fun, and do it all on chain. I do think that are you seeing people building DAOs today? I guess how are you thinking about that? Because in my mind, I don't know how you possibly get to be totally frank, product market fit just addressing DAOs today, but maybe I'm missing
Yeah. People are still calling what they're doing DAOs. There's a lot of trend within the AI communities, and the agents are forming DAOs. You know, Eliza is one of the biggest ones that has kind of blown up recently. But yeah, you're right. There is kind of a bad taste in the mouth because of the friction, because of the lack of engagement. And so we're trying to minimize what we're saying, that this isn't about DAOs. It's about communication, about your community's purpose. And we add the on-chain coordination stuff in the back. We're not leading with that. That's not what this is about. This is about these channels and what they're trying to accomplish. and then actually we can, like a mullet, you know, a reverse mullet, you know, keep the business in the back.
Yeah, so I think that makes a lot of sense. If it felt to me like this is my channel that me and a group of other people who care deeply about this topic created, and we have a purse of funds that we can take actions with and do cool things and build cool things, then I think that, and you sort of use language that indicates that that's what matters, as opposed to like, hey, we're doing DAO tooling. And it sounds like you're kind of aware of that now, but like, yeah, creating just a net new vibe for how people connect and build online, I think, is a better angle than, hey, we're building tooling for DAOs.
You gave me goosebumps, man, because like that's exactly what we're thinking. You know, we've been trying to recreate these Fortune 500 companies with these massive DAOs, and I just don't believe that that's the way. I think it's smaller groups of people, more ephemeral organizations that come together to do something, accomplish that, and it's done, right? And so, I mean, that's going to take a lot of shift of the sentiment of DAOs and what they're possible. But to me, that's the most exciting part of what we're working on right now.
Cool.
Cool. Yes, my question. Yeah, Frank, go on.
Yes. So thank you so much, first of all, and big fan of what you're building. So you talk about a fundraising use case that you want to build on top of this tech, and so do you have in mind a roadmap or a timeline?
Yeah, the beauty of this is we've been dog fooding all of this DAO technology since 2019. My partner founded DAO House at ETH Berlin back then, and we've been building DAO House ever since. And so what we're doing now is taking all of the DAO tooling that we've been working on and testing and migrating it into the social feed. So the proposals, the voting and all that was kind of where we started. We also have a fundraising app called Yeeter, and Yeeter was one of the first frames that I built to allow people to contribute to a crowdfunding campaign in the feed. So now we're kind of taking some of that tech and refining the interface and figuring out the new flows. So we've been working on that recently and just kind of getting it buttoned up, hopefully to launch for the next one. So we're using tools that we're already familiar with and kind of continuing to iterate and refine them.
Cool. And also another question, because correct me if I'm wrong, but I guess your biggest challenge right now is to find users, basically, and you said channel owners. So do you have something in mind? So I mean, do you want to talk with some specific channels? I don't know, sports or something like that, or you are open to?
Open to anything. You know, somebody that's willing to experiment and try new things. We've also, you know, offered DAO design services for a while, so we can talk people through what they're wanting to accomplish. One of the ideas I would really love to experiment is that the DAO, all they do is govern the channel. And so the DAO votes on, you know, who's the moderator or what are the criteria for that moderator getting removed and stuff like that. So it's a lot of interesting concepts. I think that's what makes it hard. You know, finding just somebody that's willing to use this. We've been working with Hats Protocol. They're super excited to, you know, start using the features as they start rolling out. Coconut Network is another one of my favorites, and they're planting coconut trees in a farm in the Dominican Republic. They're a really big supporter of what we're doing. And then my favorite is Post Your Ale, where you share what's going on, what you're drinking. And so, you know, we're kind of just experimenting with those, but getting somebody who's just passionate about using these tools and believes in what we're doing, that's more important than the growth, because we just want to demonstrate how it works with something that actually works, right? Nobody's excited about DAOs because DAOs have failed. So let's find one and help them succeed. And then maybe other people are going to want to try to emulate those models and then use our tools.
Great stuff, Travis. Thank you again for coming in last minute and excited to see the progress in the next weeks.
So happy to be here, y'all.
Yeah. So let's move on Live More, Carlos. We are right on time, so 30 minutes left, 15 minutes per team. So
okay.
Good stuff here. Travis, you're still sharing the screen. Cool. Yes, go on, Carlos. Your time.
Hello, I'm Carlos. I'm from Mexico City. Unfortunately, my co-founder Oriana couldn't attend the meeting. She had she's in a work meeting, so she probably, if she ends sooner, she will join us. So I'm gonna share my screen and I'm gonna present you Live More. Let me find. Okay, now I'm sharing. So I'm going to start with this cast I posted on Podcaster from a year ago, which says, GM, I'm a very stubborn person. When an idea gets into my head, I don't rest until I carry it out. And the idea of a frame just popped in my mind. There are a couple drawbacks. I don't code, and got to finish a project like that. So a year ago, I haven't written a single line of code, but the idea of writing a frame, I thought they were like amazing tools for podcasters. So 1 year later, I'm here presenting Live More. Live More, their idea is turn healthy habits into rewards. These habits are like track your activities, daily activities, challenge your friends, and earn rewards in crypto for completing those, successfully completing those challenges. So neither Oriana or I are coders. We started working on this mini frame, in this mini app, sorry, a month ago. But we have a very specific agenda or roadmap. So for this demo day, our objective is to connect the mini app to the fitness API in Google, create a database structure, and pull data from this API. We have different objectives. If you want later, we can discuss about them. But at the end of the day, our objective is by June 14 at the demo day in Rome, Italy, have a fully functional mini app with lots of users tracking, challenging, and having a healthy lifestyle. So as of today, this is the frame that you can see on Podcaster. It's just, you open it, it's loading. This is that we are participating in Just Frame It, and you just have to click to join the early access, which will write the user into a database. As of today, we have more than 4,000 users who have installed the frame and joined the early access. So I'm gonna click it, I confirm. With some notification that I had the token from the frame and all that stuff. And there you go, I'm on the whitelist. I can share the frame, and that's how we have became kind of viral, because people are sharing the frame. So that's for the frame as what people can do with it right now. So I'm going to switch screen. Give me a second. And as I told you, the main objective for today, demo day, was to connect to our Google API. So I have whitelisted myself in the app to be able to use it. So Carlos, welcome to the Live More beta testing program. Please select your data provider. For the moment, only Fitness by Google is available. Our objective is to have 3 more providers: Oura Ring, Garmin Connect, and Whoop, because they are like the main wearable devices. So I'm going to click the Google Fit Connect. Probably you didn't see it because it's on another screen, but I'm going to validate with my account. Connection successful. It's going to reload the page. The Google Fit connected. And since we are tracking activities, we have to define our daily, sorry, this is in Spanish, but I'm from Mexico. So we have to define our daily objectives. So I'm going to set a daily 10,000 steps per day, 2,500 calories, and 8 hours sleep. I say my objectives. That goes to a database, and boom, it's connected to. Sorry about this. I'm still working on it, but this is the data connected. So as for today, I have burned 676 calories, only walked 77 steps because I've been sitting in the computer since yesterday. I pulled an all-nighter to deliver this, and 0 hours of sleep. So this is it. This is the app, and we will be. The main objective of the app is once the user starts using the app, if they complete their daily challenges, they can mint attestations on base blockchain, either for a single activity or a single activity. If they completed the calories challenge, they will be eligible to mint the attestation. And we will start with a streak program. So if you complete all 3 daily objectives, you will be eligible to claim a super streak, and that will also be an attestation. And on the second stage, users will to create competitions where they will challenge their partners. So basically, that's it.
Cool. Yeah, I was raising as we out of time for the demo. Thank you so much for sharing, and looks really exciting. I'll take the mic for the question because I'm really craving this. So I while you were presenting, two idea got to my mind. Like the first one is, are you thinking on making like these social somehow? So I remember there was like that still receipt on Farcaster, which is like a great ways in which like people are interacting and sharing their goals and kind of like competing on I don't know, steps or running miles, whatever. That's one thing that came to my mind. And then the second one, which I think would be cool, I know that the Eiger community is also very kind of like tied to, you know, this type of like sports competition. And so like even in this direction, if you're like thinking about making it more social than just, you know, single and solo tracking, I think they will probably like be like great partners to have.
Yes, I met Victor from Receipts last year in Arcon, and I think what the main differentiation between Receipts and us is Receipts is only for racers, I mean only for running, and it's only available on iOS. There's no way you can download it on Android. A lot of people have been asking him for that, and as far as I'm concerned, it's very difficult. I don't know what are the technical difficulties about it. So yes, we are going into social, but we are tracking these 3 elements: the running, calories burned throughout the day. So you could either go out and take a swim or walk or whatever you want to do, but you are with active calories. And the other social component is the ability to create challenges with your friends. So you create a challenge for, I don't know, maybe 10,000 steps, 10,000 daily steps during 7 days period, and you just challenge your friends. We are planning to use Maynard's API to pull your friends from your Farcaster friends and send them a notification of the challenge.
Cool. Thank you so much for the answer. Any other question, guys? Frank, you have any question? Yes, go on.
Yes. So, thank you so much for the presentation. Can you repeat a little bit what you said about user metrics? So, referring to the pre-save, let's say, or beta stage of the app, and also I'm curious to understand better in the next iteration. So in the next, let's say, 2 weeks, if you want to reach to the first user, and what feature and what aspect of the app you want to test first to understand if it works or if there is a need on this kind of mini app, not frame, mini app.
So Oriana just joined us. Probably she would like to answer that question, the second part. And regarding the first one, I just ran a query into the database. We have 4,007 users. We added an analytics component in Vercel. To be honest, we are on the free version, so probably 5 days it's not pulling data because it's limited, I guess, to I don't know the number, but it's limited. So we will introduce with the partners of the program to have more detailed data and accepting their sponsorship. But as of today, this is what we have: 8,000 visitors, 8,000 page views, and the 400 installs on the frame.
Hi. So the other question was regarding which features we want to test if the users want. Like in the beginning, you are going to be able to track your own results, so it's for yourself, and you can do like you can see if you can reach your own goals. But this is like the first MVP. So this is something that people who is tracking like normally do. Like we wake up and you want to see if you fulfill your hours of sleep, if you have enough steps. So it's something like people is doing already within their own apps, in their own tracking devices, and with the advantage that you can do it on chain and you can share it, because we know that people like to share like when they reach their goals. But the idea is to, as soon as we can, incorporate the social part, because that is going to have more traction. When you can fulfill a challenge and you can earn money and you can invite your friends, you can make a group with your family and invite them all to try to reach these goals. So I don't know if this is answering the question.
So complementing this, this is our time frame, our roadmap. So April 25th, we will connect to Outer Ring, Garmin, and the attestations of days. And we are planning to have a private beta group with 15 users, which will be allowed to connect their devices and create the attestations. By May 9th, we will start the streaks and super streaks, which is when you complete your 3 challenges, you will be able to create a super streak and a fully functional web page. Nowadays, it's only a land page. I don't know. Yes, that. And the private group with 30 beta users. And by May 23rd, the ability to create challenges, share challenges to friends, the smart contracts for the challenges. And this is something, when we presented this program in this mini app in September, one of our mentors or the judges told us that if we could, since the challenge will have an entry fee that is going to be stored on a smart contract, and once the challenge ends, the winner will get the funds disbursed. He told us that we could probably integrate Eigenlayer to stake the funds while the challenge is in process. So we are also evaluating that process. And beta group with 40 users, and by June 19 at Rome, the full app working.
Great.
Thank
you. Thank you so much again for sharing. Let's move on the last but not least, Patrick from Megapod.
Hello, hey everyone. My name is Patrick. I'm the founder of Megapod. So let me go share my screen. I can walk you through our app and whatnot. So I know that we said no slides. I will have one slide to explain how Megapod works, and then I'll go straight into the demo So yeah, we're Megapod. We're building the world's largest jackpot. The easiest way to understand what Megapod is to compare it against a traditional lottery. So in a traditional lottery, on the left over here, you see that players' tickets will fund a mega jackpot. But you have this chicken and egg problem where you want to build something like that online. You need to sell a lot of tickets to get a big jackpot, but you also need a big jackpot to sell a lot of tickets. So you have this chicken and egg problem. I used to work at Uniswap, and so one of the mechanisms that we designed here is to use liquidity providers to basically fund this jackpot. They guarantee a jackpot by basically pre-buying every single ticket in our jackpot today. And so they are taking on significant risk to make it exciting for everyone to go play. The second thing is that in traditional lotteries, you have brick and mortar stores that sell tickets, corner stores, gas stations, whatnot. But what Megapod is doing, we're allowing any online app to sell tickets. The way to think about this is like how AWS provides compute as a service. We actually provide a jackpot as a service. We're providing a primitive, is a blockchain protocol that fully runs by itself, and anyone can build on top of that. And so much more than just sell a ticket, pay $1, win $300,000. But it can be so much more than that. Like right now, we have apps that are saying, hey, if you share, a cast on Farcaster, now you can get a chance to win $300,000, and you can programmatically issue a 1 penny ticket for someone to go play. So there's so much more than just, what we have offline, putting it online. The last thing, players buy tickets. We are competing against people buying a ticket at a convenience store. And so our goal is always has to be less than 15 seconds to buy a ticket. That's one reason why we love Farcaster mini apps, because, everyone already has embedded wallets. Turns out everyone's earning a lot of USDC these days from WorldCast rewards. And so, it's really easy for someone to play in less than 15 seconds. If you're not on our mini app and you're going on our web app, you can also buy with any token on any EVM chain in just one transaction. You can also pay with Coinbase, Binance, or even credit card, all in one transaction, all in less than 15 seconds. You should just give it a shot. And lastly, we have a protocol. It draws a winner every single day. And I think that's a really cool part. So I'm gonna go into a quick demo. We have geo-blocking restrictions, so it makes it hard for me to hop on a call here in the United States and screen share. So I recorded a quick video. So one thing that's really interesting here, we're eagerly connecting to your WorldCast wallet over here. You can see you don't need a user to have to click connect wallet and do any of that dance where they switch wallets on that. All that happens. We also noticed that we're selling a lot of tickets these days. So we have toasts that show up literally when a ticket has been bought. You can literally click the Etherscan and go see that actually was bought a couple seconds ago. So it has connected to a WorldCast wallet. Kind of walk you through the page. You can actually win $297,000 right now. This is real money, all in USDC on a contract that you can go win. It just costs $1 to go play, so it's very accessible from anyone, anywhere in any country. When you click buy ticket, what's really cool is we have I clicked it too fast. Yeah, so we have a bottom sheet that shows up. You just click confirm and give it 2 seconds to load, and we're waiting for base to, there we go. And so now you can go see that, you bought a ticket. You can go see your tickets. You can go share on Farcaster natively, and it embeds the frame. You can also deposit liquidity, as we mentioned. And so what I think is really cool is you can actually see the entries that you have. All this is fully on chain. We're just an interface to the on-chain protocol right now. Another cool thing is a couple weeks ago, someone actually did win $200,000. And you can click that link and you can go through the steps and you can verify that this was provably fair. We did not have any way to influence this, and you can go see it because it's all fully on chain. And we've been hacked on this since July last year, and we've had 19 winners. We've had around $28 million with jackpots by now. So it's something that's been proven at scale. And lastly, I want to just walk you through the liquidity page. So right now we actually do have about $600,000 in liquidity. We've been actually trying to tell people not to deposit because we have too big of a jackpot, and we don't have enough ticket sales yet. But yeah, if you know about Uniswap V3, you can set some percentage of your position and range. We do something similar here. And yeah, we reward you for helping us build a big jackpot by giving you some mag points every single day. So we have a points program that's live. And lastly, yeah, referrals are important. We have a lot more we want to go do here, but the cool part is this whole referral program is also fully on chain. These are all referral fees that you can go claim directly from the contracts. This is not off chain or anything. This is all real money that you can go do. So that is the demo. I think that's about 7 minutes. So that's about it. Open it up to any kind of questions for folks.
Any question for Patrick?
This is awesome. I'm just curious, can you share a little bit more about the point system and what that does and looks like?
Yeah, so the best way to go do that is like we have a point system. Really, the only thing that we care a lot about is that we have a multi-sided network of players, of liquidity providers and apps. And so if you buy tickets, you earn some points. If you deposit liquidity, you earn some points passively every single day. If you're an app that refers players, you also earn points. Ultimately, points are how we track and reward our earliest users in the future. Like if we find product market fit, we kind of know what happens in crypto. And so that's kind of what we're trying to go do here. Just saying like, hey, if you help us early on, like when we do find product market fit, when you do become a hugely successful protocol, we will reward you. As you can see right now, actually every point has to be something that is tied to like economic activity. So there's no way to game the system right now, but also constrains growth. And so one thing that we're going to go do is actually reward you with some points if you share on Twitter or share on Farcaster, but it also has to be tied to some amount of economic activity so we can prevent Sybil and bots. But yeah, does that make sense?
Yeah, got it. Cool. Thanks.
Any
Hey.
other calling? Yes.
Yeah, quick question. I mean, this is awesome. One of my questions, so like the LPs, I guess, they're taking on this risk with the USDC. I don't know if I saw this before, but like, what is the reward that they're getting? Are they getting some sort of yield or a portion of the pots when they pay out, or like
yeah,
that makes sense for them?
Yeah, I didn't go into that because we only had a couple minutes. Loosely, like they are the house, quote unquote. Like they take a 30% fee on every ticket sold, and so some days they can earn a ton of yield. So yeah, 700%, 137,000% APY on stables. Like even yesterday, they're making 55% APY on stables. So pretty crazy yield, but you are risking a ton of money here. Like this pot right now is real money that like there's a 1 in 400,000 chance that someone's going to take home $280,000 and LPs will have to pay that out.
That's really good odds relative. I mean, like relative to a normal lottery.
Yes, and so take a look at this page. We spent a lot of time because this is a very novel mechanic. Like this is, I think, like we have a lot of apps that are like traditional categories, and you're like, hey, I'm launching this new thing on this new chain. We're trying to do something relatively new. It's not the easiest thing to explain. So take a look at this article. We kind of talk about like how we do the fee structure. We have walkthroughs with like what happens if people spend this kind of money. We even show you the HY outcomes where like you earn like a ton of money just purely from fees because you get to be the house in a casino, and we all know the house always wins. And we're now democratizing that, allowing anyone to be the house.
Sweet.
So yeah, we allow passive investing. And yeah, we just think like over time you will make money. There's going to be variance, but like it is a 30% fee, which is quite large. It's also way smaller than any traditional lottery out there.
This is awesome. Nice work.
Well, yeah, I guess there could be like a ton of questions. What I would ask is like probably within the cohort, like your project is the one like more production ready. So it's already live. It's already like a huge jackpot. It's been a while. I think you also had a web app before a mini app, right? So
yeah,
like
you can go to our site right here. Yeah.
So the question, two questions. First one is like, what was the effect, or did you notice any effect or impact on like numbers, metrics, users, lottery tickets bought when you released the mini app on Farcaster?
Yeah, no, I think that's something that I actually posted. I was like, wow, like we announced it on Farcaster and then we got a flood of transactions. and that was really cool. Like we actually announced it on Farcaster a day before it publicly announced it on Twitter. And it was just really cool to see people making transactions. And like one of the cool things that you can go do is like I actually go to this page like multiple times a day, but like you can literally go see people who are buying tickets, and a lot of them will have their like base ENS name, and you're like, oh wow, it's like kind of cool to see people doing this. This is only actually a minor fraction of all tickets. You should go to ERC20 because we do a lot of funky financial engineering in the Mac, so you can go pay with across any token, across any chain, and so it doesn't show up as a typical transaction. But yeah, it's like really cool to see people on their ENS name showing up here. And so we have amplitude metrics that show like, yeah, Farcaster is a very high converting funnel because most people can just convert right away. And so that's why we're really bullish on building on Farcaster. We're also embedded inside Coinbase wallets. And we just think this kind of like being inside these first party apps that have embedded wallets will make it much easier, just because the mobile experience is terrible. Like if you're on our web app, you have to get kicked out to MetaMask 3 times to be able to buy a ticket. It just doesn't not make sense. And so that's why we're really excited about being in Farcaster and building on Farcaster. I've been on Farcaster for, over 2 years now. So, something that I followed and always wanted to build to keep almost saying the F word here, of building a mini app. I think mini apps V1 were not as easy to build on, and now this one is really great. Like the really cool part about this mini app is literally just our web app, but you add a couple of things to the site and then it just works. So yeah, I guess to answer your question, yeah, we saw a bunch of transactions from Farcaster users. The conversion is definitely higher than from other typical web apps and whatnot.
But in terms of like percentage, how many are coming from Farcaster and from the web app? Because I see a lot of transactions here, and a lot, probably more than any other mini app. But Megapod and maybe like Linda knows also about these metrics as the leaderboard of the developer rewards. Like Megapod is right now like 22nd. How many transactions are coming in, just to understand?
I don't have the exact numbers for you. I have an on-chain database I need to go dig into.
Okay.
It's not as easy to go figure this out because we don't actually have a way to track from on-chain transactions like what the channel it came from. It just shows up as a ticket purchase, and so we have some stuff that we can go trying to do some joins. Like I understand off-chain, like hey, how many people reached the ticket confirmation page, stuff like that. But I don't have a clear number. But I can see what I can pull up for you later.
Yeah. Just curious. Maybe also Linda can help us here. And then the other question before if somebody else has one, I guess like Megapod is in this state, like very good state. Like what would be like the next things down the line that you are planning? The next challenges. What are you looking?
Yeah, I mean, really, like where we are right now is like we're actually doing an okay job at sustaining a $200,000 jackpot. Like, when you sell 300, we only sold 372 tickets yesterday. That's not that much. Like, the goal for us is like we see crypto as a way for us to get to the next milestone. That next milestone is like we can maintain $1 million jackpot and keep those LPs happy. That's the hard part. And so where we're going next right now, like, Farcaster mini apps and world mini apps are very similar. So we're building a world mini app. We have a lot of partners that are building apps on our protocol. So one that I think is really cool that I saw recently is this company called B2B Finance. And they allow you to actually subscribe to a ticket drawing, which is really cool. You can auto buy a ticket every single day. Like you deposit like 30 USDC and auto buys tickets. So this is what I mean by like the design space is so cool because we are just code and anyone can build on top of us. So this is someone that I don't know. They just built a community that just built this on top of us. So instead of you having to go click every single day, you can literally deposit $30 in here and it'll buy a ticket for you every day. And so we think B2B is a primary way where we can 100x the number of tickets that we sell. But really our goal, and I always go back to this, is like, I don't actually want to be a large on-chain jackpot. We're already there. Like the goal is to be $1 billion jackpot that's global from day one. And for those of you who have played like HQ Trivia or those kind of live games, like our goal is the whole world will stop every single day and check their phones and say like, who became a billionaire? and like the whole world can participate in the same contest. That's what we're excited about. And so really the goals are like, how do we get to this next how do we build $1 million jackpot and get enough sustainable ticket volume for that to a $10 million jackpot, 100 million, a billion. So those are kind of like how we look at it. That is, how do we win like crypto apps? I think we actually care about large number of users, and they don't have to have that much money. I think a lot of crypto protocols only go for whales. We're actually very okay going for users that have like $5 in their wallet. So that's like world and like much more on the web app side of things than B2B. And then we're going to crypto casinos and online casinos and doing so much more here. But like that's the kind of growth that we want to get to.
Cool. Cool. Thank you so much for all the info and data. Very, very cool to see. We are 1 minute under, like, 1 minute over. So if there isn't any other question, like, I will close it here. It's been a pleasure, like, to see all of you and check like all this progress and cool mini apps that you guys are building. Really excited to see the next few weeks what will come up, what stage your project or product like will be. And yeah, good luck, and let's keep in touch, of course. As you know, like, me and Frank, we're always available for office hours next week and the next weeks. So happy to help with anything. Just reach out to us, and we're here.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you for organizing. Thanks for being a great resource.
And
Supporting the
congrats.
ecosystem.
Thank you.
Thank you.